Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be featuring the new single eyeshadows from Shellwe Makeup. I have some videos previously with some of their other products such as their liquid eyeshadows as well as their Clionadh palette and some of their other single eyeshadow multichromes. These single eyeshadows are definitely right on par with spring and summer approaching and are very colorful and sheer to a little bit more opaque. You can definitely build some of these up. So I'm going to be showing you some swatches so you can probably already see with the way they look in the pan. They're pretty different from their much more jeweled kind of multichromes. These were gifted to me by the brand, so thank you so much to Shellwe for sending these over to me. They are $18 each, and it says 1 gram per product in each pan. I think in comparison to most indie brands, you're getting about half a gram of product less than usual. I know that Clionadh, for example, is 1.5 grams at least in each of the pans, and then most brands are 1.5 grams. There's also two different texture ones that have this triangular texture on them are very, very smooth, while these other shades that do not have that texture in them are a little bit on the flaky side, but I will kind of show you how they apply. And while they do pick up flaky, they actually smooth out really, really nicely on the lids. And so you can buy all the shadows with this clear empty palette that comes with a little cover on it like this, and it is magnetic, so you just kind of push it down because the magnets are on the edges and you take it off. And then they also have a 5-pan empty palette as well as single pan. I really do love the way this looks. However, these rhinestones are already coming off, especially some of the single empty pans. They're really coming off. This one so far seems like nothing has come off, but I'm definitely anticipating that these will eventually come off. So I do wish that these did not have the rhinestones on them, just purely because these are going to get some wear and tear in your drawers. They're probably going to rub up against some other palettes. So I'm going to show you 2 looks with this palette, and I'll give you some of my thoughts. I'm going to, of course, be using the Blend Bunny Blends palette to do these 2 looks. Going in with Giggle right in the crease, and I primed with the P. Louise Paint Primer in the shade 0.5, I believe. I'm going to be creating an all purple monochromatic look to pair with some of the beautiful purple shades. So I'm just putting that right into the crease, and I'm using the Spectrum B11 brush. Taking just a little bit of Signs, and I'm going to put that right into the crease just to deepen it up a little bit. Just a little bit more. And I'm going to slowly start bringing it up. And I'm just kind of flinging it out here. I'll be going in with a much deeper shadow there. Taking Bewitched on the outer corner, and I'm tapping it on to first lay down the color. And then I'm just going to put on just a tiny bit more out here. And then taking just a little bit of Giggle and just blending this outwards. I could probably deepen it up a little bit more, but I think I'm going to leave it. But I'm really tempted to go in with the black shadow and just deepen it up. And I'm going to take some Giggle, just run it across the edge, just to further blend it. Taking some Fair Pixie Epoxy, and I'm going to be doing a faux half cut crease, and I'm actually going to be like really cutting it and laying it down and then tapping it out with my finger. Picked up some Delusion, and it is just a little bit on the flaky side. So it just picks up a little bit flaky, but once it's on, I mean, look at that. That looks so beautiful. And that's just going right up against where I cut the crease. Just kind of on the inner portion of my lid up into the crease, and then picking up a Lingering Heart, again a little bit chunky, but I can tell this is going to smooth out beautifully. Oh my goodness, this is so stunning. This actually looks a little bit different than I was imagining. It's got a very interesting kind of base to it. It's almost got like a blue pink teal going on. Maybe it's more of a teal than blue. That is so pretty. Taking Bewitched underneath my lower lash line, but just taking it about a third way in, just a little bit, just to connect the outer corner. And then for the inner corner highlight, I'm taking some Dancing Water, which I used this one in a reel as a face highlight. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful and wet looking. It's so smooth. Here's the first finished look. Again, using the Blends palette from Blend Bunny, I'm going in with Remedy right into the crease with a B11 Spectrum brush. And I'm going to be creating a halo eye. So I'm just kind of keeping this right in the crease. And I'm using circular motions to create like a more circular shape out here versus my usual kind of winging it out like I did on in the first look. And I did prime again with the P. Louise paint primer in shade 0.5. So I got a really nice clean base, opaque base to layer these shadows on. Taking Luxe on the B3 brush from Blend Bunny, I'm just gonna tap it down first on the inner and outer lid. Just a little bit more. I'm probably gonna deepen this up a bit more than what it is now. Next, taking the B4 brush, just clean, and I'm gonna work out these edges and up into the crease here, but not too far. And then just blending it out here a little bit more. And then I'm gonna tap on just a little bit more right out here. Taking a clean brush and Cream and Sugar, and I'm just gonna go over the edges. Just really blend everything, making sure everything's nice and feathered out. Picked up the tiniest amount of Nevermore. I'm just gonna put it right up against my lash line. And then I'm gonna take the brush I was using to blend out the edge of the green, and I'm just gonna start blending that into the dark green to really deepen it up. Get a bit more depth up in here. And going in with the Pretty Pixie Epoxy right in the center of my lid. I'm gonna tap it out. Picked up Dry Riverbed, and you can see it's a little bit on the flaky side, but it's going to apply so smooth and beautiful. Oh, this is such a cool shade. Definitely reminds me of, I believe it's Mural from Clionadh. Oh, I love these kinds of shades. Green with a red orangey shift. So cool. Taking Luxe underneath my lower lash line, connecting it with the outer corner, and then I'm going to do that on the inside portion of my lower lash line as well. And then I'm going to wipe off the brush and pick up some Remedy and put it right in the center. And then wipe off any fallout. Didn't have too much. In the waterline, I put the Odin's Eye number 5 eyeliner. And here's the finished second look. So let's talk about these shades. Obviously, I haven't tried out all the shadows, but I have featured this shade in a reel as well as this shade right here. This shade, which is called Autumn Leaves, is so beautiful. It is just like an almost neon yellow. I mean, this is so perfect for spring. It is so stunning. And then this one right here is also beautiful as a highlight, which I did for a reel as well. So these are all really nice and smooth. And some of these are a little bit chunkier. So this one, for example, this one, you can kind of see that in the pan a little bit. They're a little bit on the chunky side, but they're still extremely smooth. It's not like a dry, like really flaky kind of formula. It smooths out really beautifully on the lid, as you could see in the tutorial part of the video. So I'm really glad, because I do prefer when they do smooth out quite a bit and I don't even need to use my finger. They apply beautifully with a brush and a tacky primer, and none of these are squishy, none of them are wet feeling. There's one shadow, this one right here, that feels just a little bit thicker, like a little bit waxy, but I don't anticipate having any issues with that. The rest of them are so smooth, really beautiful, swatch beautifully, apply beautifully. You can definitely layer these on top of some colorful mattes to get a totally different effect. These are also great for one and done kinds of eyeshadows, and this one's definitely one of my favorites. And I also love this shade, which is Waterfall. Between these two shades, I really wish that they had kind of done a different shadow, because they're very similar. So I think the main difference between them, because the color itself is so similar, is that Idle Breeze, which is this shade right here, is a bit more sheer than the shade next to it, which is covered by the magnet hole, so I can't see. But this one is definitely more opaque and shinier, so it really depends kind of texture-wise what you're looking for, or rather effect, not really texture. This one is also beautiful. I've definitely seen something similar like this from other brands at this point. This one has lots of flecks throughout it, a really stunning shade. I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these. I do see myself dipping into this in the upcoming months quite a bit, especially for kind of one and done or 2 eyeshadows and done kinds of looks. Make sure you're following me on Instagram so that you can see any other looks that I create with these shadows. I'm planning on featuring at least 1 or 2 more shades at some point in the future because these are just so stunning, either in my stories or as reels or maybe in some BYOP kinds of palettes. As for the empty palette, like I mentioned in the beginning, I really wish they didn't have these rhinestones on them because they are coming off, and I just think it would have quite a bit of a cleaner look if they did not have these on. But I really do like this kind of style of empty palette. I also love that it's clear and has the silver paint around each of the pans, and I love being able to see which shadows are in the palette. So those are my thoughts so far on the new Shellwe makeup single eyeshadows. Let me know in the comments below which shade is your favorite, and if you plan on picking any of these up, they are already available on their website. I will link it down in the description box. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.